Roos, you mentioned the incoming talent coming in, and I want to touch on the tight ends. Let's just go ahead and get to upcoming signing day news and also talk about the tight ends that are already secured for Georgia. I mean, if you go through and look at all the pass catchers coming in, it's not a traditional evaluation where you look at only the receivers and you just say, okay, maybe we hit on one of the tight ends. I mean, Georgia's got a grab bag of tight end talent coming in too.
Yeah, no, it's pretty special, man. I've told people, listen, I think Georgia is the team to beat for Duce Robinson. I think that Georgia is in a great position heading into next week for Duce Robinson. If you didn't get Duce Robinson, you'd still be okay at tight end, more than okay. You've got two elite players coming in at the tight end position. Pierce Spurlin, I've talked about him on this show several times. I was curious to see how he'd come back from injury. He goes out to San Antonio at the Adidas game, and people said it looked like he never lost a step and probably even got better even after injury. Then you got Lawson Lucky, who comes in, a guy with an ample skill set as well, a lot of speed, great blocker. I think you've got two guys already coming in that are outstanding. And then I do like your chances with Duce Robinson. And you're talking about Duce Robinson. Anybody who's watched those videos of him at the Polynesian Bowl or whatever, I mean, that's a different cat, man. That's a different dude. No
disrespect to the Polynesian Bowl, by the way. I don't keep up with all the All-Star games. I thought it was like a dipping sauce competition, like a Chick-fil-A deal. I didn't even know they had a Polynesian Bowl.
Yeah. It's actually, it's a genius thing because they, what kid doesn't want to go out to Hawaii and play? But, Duce Robinson, just like I said, different cat, man. A guy who speed, size, athleticism, catch range, great blocker. What do you want? I mean, the guy is a true do-it-all. I mean, look at dude. He's just skating past people right here.
Kyle Pitts, bro. Kyle Pitts.
I mean, and what is he? 6'6", like 230.
Oh my God!
I don't care.
Yeah, the double move he just put on there. I'll tell you what, it makes me nervous for the kids that he's playing against because clearly these guys. I mean, some of them may be like 6'2", but he's so tall, he dwarfs them all. It just makes me feel nervous for him. Makes me feel sad for him because there's not much they can do at the high school level against this dude.
The biggest obstacle between that cat right there and college football and NFL stardom is a stack of Major League Baseball cash. That's the only thing that stands between him and dominating whatever level he goes to is the fact that he could make legit cash. I've got a guy that I play golf with from time to time who is a Chicago Cubs scout, and he is very high on this cat. He is. I mean, everybody is. And I think the only thing that it's one of those push and pull deals where the only thing I think that keeps him from being a super high, not necessarily super high, but a high enough draft pick to kind of mess with him is that he's also a really good football player, probably a better football player than he is a baseball player, which only slightly better. So there's that little bit of conflict there. So maybe a team will back off and, draft him, top 100 instead of top 20. But he is, I'm telling you, I watch him. I see Kyle Pitts. I see what and not only do I see Kyle Pitts, I see what Kyle Pitts did at Florida.
Yeah. I was going to say Kyle Pitts in high school didn't look like this. I mean,
Georgia recruited Kyle Pitts in high school, and I shudder to think about the fact that they may have turned that cat down, but they may have.
Yeah, I think
I don't know they did, but they may have.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they pushed as hard as they could have. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
And
I can't not see Kyle Pitts now that you gave that comparison, Ro. I think it's funny that everyone compares him to Jimmy Graham just because he looks like Jimmy Graham. Like he resembles Jimmy Graham. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not comparable to him either. But I think Pitts is way more accurate.
If Jimmy Graham, Eric Stokes, and Duce Robinson played for Mel Tucker would have had the same nickname for all three guys. That's just, because they kind of all have they all had the same look and Mel Tucker used to have a nickname for Eric Stokes, and Kirby Smart used to just bring it up all the time. So, they would have all had the same nickname.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, Robinson, Special. I mean, there's no other way to really phrase it. And talking about realistically, I think we've all thought about it, but like when you really get down to the nitty gritty of thinking about pairing a kid with this kind of skill set and size with what they already have, Georgia.
Oh my God, I gotta go back to that
one. Georgia's going to be so far ahead of the game.
Y'all watch this highlight if you're just watching our beautiful faces.
In terms of tight end,
oh my Lord,
yeah. What do you want, man? I mean, in terms of tight end, Georgia has been setting the standard. You add a guy like this, they're ahead of the game by miles.
That's just freakish stuff. There are a lot of times when you watch a kid that is, playing against overmatched competition. I want to say Brock Vandergriff, Jacob Eason come to mind at the quarterback positions. You wonder, like, okay, is he good or is he just playing against scrubs?
No, Darnell Washington was like that in high school. I remember seeing him out in Vegas, and he was that big in high school. And kids would try to come near him, and he would just swat them away like
it's the same thing with Duce, though. It's like this is what an elite guy should look like against kids that he could put in the hospital.
When I watched Darnell Washington's film, I used to smell things burning. I would just be like, oh my God, something's burning. This guy's lighting stuff on fire.
He was now, and I'll say this, and I stand by this because I saw him play it at the time. I think Darnell Washington would have been one of the most special pass rushers in the college game had he chosen to go that route. In high school, he was
that's terrifying.
He was completely unstoppable. I mean, you're talking about, high school sized kids. So it's like, 230-pound linemen trying to stop a LeBron James clone.
A lot of nervous mamas in the stands.
Dude just over here like,
Man, if this huddle tape of Duce Robinson was set to a song, what would it be?
Biggie.
The Imperial March.
It would be explicit, whatever it is.
It would be Biggie. Can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
I mean, goodness.
Here's the other thing, and we haven't talked about this a lot, but going into National Signing Day next week, this guy is going to sign, but he's going to be a 24 guy essentially. That's Walker Lyons.
Yeah,
and Georgia's in heavily there. I mean, kind of like a two-team race. Georgia's in there. Now, he'll be a 24 enrollee, so it doesn't necessarily affect you this year. But you're talking about another 4-star tight end. So you have a potential in this class to sign 4 4-star tight ends. Duce Robinson being 5-star, actually. So you got 1 5 and 3 3 or 3 4s. I'm sorry.
Todd Hartley, just send this episode of the Georgia Show to your agent. You're welcome.